Welcome to Evening Knits. My name is Emily. I'm the maker and creator of everything you see here on this channel. And today I am here to show you my first finished object of 2024. I actually finished it back in January, but hey, better late than never. I still want to talk about it with a little bonus of the one I've got hanging in the background as well, my last object of 2023, because I used a lot of the same yarns. So let's dive right in. I'm trying a little bit of a new setup, so let's see how this goes. All right, so first and foremost, this top is the pattern by Tanis of Tanis Fiber Arts. It's called the Rockit Tee. It is traditionally knit in stripes, one stripe of a solid fingering weight with a stripe of mohair and so on and so forth. However, obviously I didn't go that route. I decided to use my leftovers from my advent from last year. So the sweater behind me, which is full length, long sleeves, that is the original sweater I made with my advent of 2023, and it was just a generic advent. It wasn't from a specific business. It was actually just from a fellow yarn dyer, yarn hoarder, yarn lovers stash. So she said she had bought way too many mini skeins, and she was just collecting, making advents and sending them off. So I purchased that because I thought it was super fun. She was based in Michigan, Midwest, which I have a love for because that's where I'm originally from. So I just opened up each color day by day with no looking forward. I just knit a stripe every day as I opened it, and I didn't rearrange anything at all. So the sweater behind me is knit that way, just as she arranged it, eight stripes, I believe, 8 rows per stripe. And then I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy. And I wanted to, with my leftovers, see if I could make a top with the colors in the order that I thought I would love even more. So I rearranged all the colors that I had, and I made them in a Roy G. Biv pattern. And it's repeating every color, excuse the cat here. Every color is only 3 stripes, which I think helps it blend a little bit better. And I just grabbed a gray from my stash to supplement it because I was nervous about having enough yarn left. Which, speaking of, this top is 218 grams, and I used about 50 grams of the gray. So that means that like 175 grams or so are what I had left of my advent. It was 26 days technically, because it was 25 days with a bonus. There wasn't a full skein like there is in some advent calendars, so it was 26 20-gram mini skeins. So between that and this, I was able to get 2 garments out of my advent from last year. So that was super fun. It was my first advent ever, and I had a blast opening it every day, sending the colors to my family and friends, and who were nervously anticipating it just like I was what the next color would be, and I had a lot of fun with it. So it was my first advent, and I'm definitely excited to do another one again. However, I think I'll do a little bit more of a cohesive one next time. This was a little bit crazy here, but I do love the outcome of this top that I'm wearing. Because it's just a little bit in a color order that I like a little bit more. So back to the top, let me tell you some of the details, and I'm gonna get a little bit closer so I can check my computer here, my Ravelry page. So I knit the size 5 in this Rockit Tee, and I started it on December 28th, 2023, and finished it January 13th, 2024. So the gray is a non-superwash yarn, whereas the advent is pretty much all superwash. So again, I keep saying dyer, but the person that sold all this yarn to me, they didn't have any labels on the mini skeins, but she said they're mostly 75-25 superwash nylon. So just going with that knowledge, this is a pretty superwash heavy top with a little bit of non-superwash in the gray. So my experience in knitting this. So this is all fingering weight, if I haven't said that already. That behind me is my first ever fingering weight garment, this being my second, and I'm knitting another. So I am definitely on the fingering weight train. I live in Orlando, Florida, so it gets very warm here, especially in the summers. Even in the winters, I wear a sweater like once or twice, throw one on at night if I'm out, but it's really not a place where I need heavy sweaters or would wear them. So I have shied away from making any more heavy sweaters, and I am now deeply in the fingering weight trenches and making fingering weight garments to add to my wardrobe to be more wearable. So This pattern I already mentioned, I just decided that every row, every color would be 3 rows. It does have several different repeats. And originally I took out a lot more colors and wasn't going to use them, but then I realized, ooh, I'm gonna run out of this yarn. So I definitely used almost all of the rest of the mini skeins from the advent, which is good, because that was the point. I want to get rid of scraps, not have so much collections of leftovers. I just feel like all those, for me personally, sit there and I don't always know what to do with them. So I like to use them up, and I'm glad that this project did that. So 3 rows per stripe, every like 4th to 5th color, I added in a gray stripe, and then obviously there is an I-cord up here and an I-cord on the sleeves and the bottom of the body that I also used the gray for. I made a silly mistake. I messed up some of the arm, so I messed up and didn't pick up for the underarm as I was supposed to, but I went back and redid it. So it is to pattern right now. Oh, no, that's a lie. It is mostly to pattern right now, but you're supposed to bind off immediately on the arms. I went ahead and knit like, I don't think it's even a full inch, but maybe 3/4 of an inch or so, just to add a little bit more to the sleeve so it wasn't as short as, like, right here is probably more of what it would have been like, and I just felt the urge to add a little bit more. Okay, so I mean, I think honestly that's pretty much all my notes on this sweater, on this pattern. I had a blast knitting it. It's a totally easy to read pattern. I would definitely make more of Tanis's pattern. She's a great designer. I love so many of them, but of course there's so many patterns that I love across the board. So I absolutely loved knitting this top. I just had so much fun seeing the colors come together. I was constantly nervous, like, oh, it's gonna be too cropped, I'm gonna run out of yarn, but honestly, it's a really good length for me, so I'm a fan. I can't wait to wear it in the summer with just denim shorts and, I don't know, maybe throw in some kind of skirt here and there, I'm not really sure. Probably more of the summer denim shorts, beach vibes, but we'll see. I absolutely love this top. It is so nice. And now let me give you just a little bit more info on the top behind me. Okay, quick change. So I decided just to show off that other top behind me on the hanger and put this one on so I can show you fully. Since we're here, why not, right? So this pattern is called the Gingerbread Sweater. It is by Espace Tricot, so it's a free pattern. It's a free fingering weight raglan style pattern. And I chose it, 1, because it was free, 2, because Espace Tricot other people have highly recommended their patterns. And let me tell you the exact designer of it. It is, hold on 2 seconds. Oh, it just says Espace Tricot. So this sweater I started on December 3rd, 2023 and completed on December 23rd in 2023. So I made a complete fingering weight sweater in 20 days. And that is because of the simple thrill of the advent. I clearly, finishing it December 23rd, I just opened skeins as I finished a stripe, and I thought like, hey, I'm gonna be falling behind because I don't know if I can keep up with a stripe a day, but I totally did, obviously, more than 1 stripe a day a lot of times, so it worked out. It was so fun. This is an advent that I bought really last minute, sometime in November, and I decided to indulge myself, treat myself. And I love that I did that. It was a blast. And I love that I used all the yarn too, so it's not just sitting around somewhere. I do have a little bit left that I'll use for sock, heels, and toes, but for the most part, I used it all. So I'm really happy with that as well. As previously mentioned, it was so fun to just open a stripe a day, although it isn't as cohesive as I thought it would be. I thought there would be a little bit more like pattern or intention behind it, and there is not. It is very random all over the place, and hey, that's okay. I went and took my finished object pictures. I still haven't taken any with that one behind me, but in this one I went to the game room in our apartment complex and took some photos because I was like, hey, it's crazy, it's fun, this is the vibes I was getting from it. Info on this, the only thing about this top that I don't love, but I'm not going to go back and fix, I'm just going to deal. My tubular cast on, way too tight, way too tight. So it goes over my head obviously, but it's a little bit of a tug, but hey, it's a top down sweater and it is what it is. I'm not gonna try and fix that. I did do tubular. I love tubular bind off for everything else, and everything else is not that way, but for some reason, I just was a lot too tight with this cast on right here. I don't know that I necessarily follow the pattern for the sleeve length or anything. I do like, I don't know, I would say a little bit longer sleeve. I don't like a bracelet length sleeve. I like it to, you know, kind of cover a little bit of my hand there despite being in a warm weather state. It's just a sensory thing. That's what I like. I knit the size 4 and I used 3.5 millimeter needles. So I think that is a half size smaller than the pattern calls for. For the one behind me, I think I did everything as a pattern suggested because my issue here, so usually I'm a super loose knitter, so I will go down a needle size or go down half a needle size to get gauge. Here I did want it to be a little bit more boxy and oversized, and it's still definitely oversized. I've got positive ease here, but I don't know, there's just something that I thought it would be more of that, more oversized. We didn't get that vibe, which is okay in the long run, but I didn't get as much positivity as I was planning. So clearly my gauge must have been too tight than the pattern requested, and I didn't gauge watch. I didn't gauge watch for either of these. I've gotten a little bit lazy with that. Not recommending it, but hey, they both turned out. Maybe not as expected, but they have both turned out, they both fit, and I really like them. Again, fingering weight sweater, I am able to wear this in Florida's winters and been cozy and warm, but not overheating, which is really important. Oh, one more thing. For all of the ends in both these sweaters, I did the weave and Steven technique, which I found doesn't work. It's a little obvious if you're just changing balls of the same color, but if you're changing balls or changing yarn and stripes, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think, at least personally, I can't see it. I don't notice it. So I just do the weave and Steven. That is Stephen West. I'm not sure if he invented it or not, but technique of weaving in ends as you go, so you do not have to do it all 25 ends or however many, 30, 50 ends like there would have been if I didn't do that technique. Those are my final thoughts about this top and the one behind me. These are the two tops that I was able to make out of my 2023 advent calendar. You have a happy year of making in 2024, and I hope to see you at least once a month with a finished object, to be determined. But thank you for being here. Like and subscribe and tell me what you are making. And I will see you next time. Bye friends, happy making.